The lockdown is finishing! Hello again, team. It's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for day 21 of the Month of Planning with Me series. Before we get into planning for today though, first for today's tidbit. For today's tidbit, I have these two journals to help me. So I have my collections bullet journal, which is for my long-term collections, and I also have my old R&D bujo, which I mainly use to do videos for YouTube and also trial different spreads and layouts. The reason I have both of these is because technically speaking, for today's tidbit, I have done a full-length video on half of the topic. But more on that in a bit. Today's tidbit is about themes and colour palettes. I know a lot of people, myself included, like to do themes in their bullet journal for each month. But we might have a little bit of difficulty when it comes to actually coming up with theme ideas. Because that is certainly something that affects me, what I have in my collections bullet journal is a list of bujo theme ideas. So anytime I see a theme on Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube or just think of one in general, this is where I jot it down. That way, if we're approaching a month and I'm feeling fairly uninspired and not really sure of what theme I might want to do, I can consult this list. The thing with bullet journal themes is that honestly, anything can be a theme. When I plan out my themes, I like to think about the colour palette, I like to think about the types of decoration and doodles that I'm going to do, if there's a font that I can use that particularly speaks to the theme, and also any other creative ways that I can include it in my monthly pages. So as you can see, I have some theme ideas on this page. I do still have some room for extra themes. Some of these I've used, some of them I haven't. And of course, I'm always on the lookout for ideas, so if you guys have any theme ideas that you want to share, please do put them in the comments. Now, as I said, there are two parts to this tidbit, because when I think about bullet journal themes, the first thing I like to think about is my colour palette. Creative colour palettes are something that I started to get into in, I think it was July of 2018. Prior to that, I'd really just done monochromatic layouts, where my bullet journal theme was really just a colour. So I'd have an orange month, and then a yellow month, and then a green month, that kind of thing. Nowadays I typically prefer to use a range of colours, and typically I like to have at least 5 different colours of Tombow in my monthly palette. This is the part of today's tidbit that I have done a full-length video on, and there is a link to that in the cards above. But just as a general overview, some of the ways that I like to find colour palettes are by looking up colour palettes on Pinterest. You can also find similar things on Instagram, but one of my favourite ways is to look at colour palette generators. In that full-length video I do talk about a couple of the different ones that I like to use in particular, but here are some examples of different colour palettes you could use. The names that I've given for these ones kind of just came from the website that I got them from. All these ideas came from one of those generator websites. Out of these ones, the one I probably like the most would be Oriental Spa, because it's a little bit different. You kind of have 4 distinct hues, which together I think look quite nice. This was also a colour palette that I believe I used in another video. Yep, here we go. So the one where I started looking at vertical, was it vertical monthlies? Yeah, it must have been. Vertical monthlies, and it was all in this colour palette here. I also had another video looking at colour palettes, where I looked at a potential theme and colour palette that you could do for every month of the year. Of course, these themes aren't going to work for everybody, and neither are the colour palettes, but it might be a good place to get started from. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments section. For now though, it's on to writing up today's checklist and filling in my trackers. So this was last week all filled in, and then here's where I started this week. I'm using the small headers that I made in last week's video, and I'm doing a drop shadow with a Tombow dual brush marker. Enough chat though, on to actually writing some things down. I know there's more, but that's all I can think of right now. So back to my monthly pages. So I have yesterday to fill in. So just a note about how we're moving out of lockdown next week, and that yesterday I made cookies, and it was the start of week 2. For my mood. Almost didn't finish the word, but I got there. And because I know I missed a couple days, I'm going to add another one. Always grateful for stars. Flipping on over. So I already actually filled in the colours for yesterday, I just need to go fill in the symbols. So we had Netflix time, creativity time in the form of baking, meal planning, editing, marking, teaching, and doing some admin work. And yet again, I've forgotten to check my step counts, so that one will have to wait. Nothing to fill in here, but I do need to think about what I'm going to be posting to Instagram, so I'll go add that to my daily checklist. Nothing else to check off on here. And for my meal log, it's just filling in today's breakfast. Over to my PowerSheets. I've been a little bad for the past couple of days and haven't really checked in with my PowerSheets, so I do have a couple of things that I can fill in here. Still plenty of stuff to get done on my monthly action items, and only 9 days left of this month, so really need to get into that. For now though, on to my teacher planner. So really it's all just about checking things off, so we can check off that biochem is finished. Non-contact is now, so check that off. And other than that, I think that's all I've actually got at the moment. I mean, in terms of readiness, I could actually tick off this one, and this one, and this one. Because the meetings I schedule during the lesson, like in the lesson. I'm actually ready for the whole week. Something to do. That's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you for watching, team. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!